Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darison Chauskas. Today is the 31st of July 2018, so welcome to this Tuesday afternoon session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments and we're going to look at their charts, and yep, as always. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Just before we jump into the charts, quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website and specifically our JFD research page, which we update on a daily basis, so you can definitely go in and check out different analysis that we do. So yep, and I believe you can find them useful for yourselves, guys, so yep, feel free. But for now, let's quickly have a look at the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on is the Nasdaq. As you probably are aware, technology stocks are getting hit lately, and this is of course reflected in the technological index here, which is the Nasdaq 100. So looking at this picture, and we can see that the index is still within this rising channel formation that has been running here since around the beginning of April, and certainly yesterday we've managed to test the lower bound of it, and we've managed to kind of close not far from this key area of support at around 71.93 mark, approximately there. Now this line, this support zone has been a very nice and important level here in the past. If we look at here, look at March the 13th, it acted as a very strong area of resistance from which the index managed to reverse and move lower. This time we can see that yep, it's acting as a very strong area of support. Certainly it also coincides with this lower side of the rising channel. Now this is the big question, of course, here. Are we actually going to break it to the downside and move lower, or actually we're going to just reverse here? We'll class this as a very nice area of support from which the index might reverse and move higher again. So certainly this is the big question, but until we see a clear signal, we probably should stay neutral on this one and just observe on what it wants to do. So basically, if for example just drawing a few lines here on this index, if we get a nice reversal here back up here, for us to kind of become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a good strong close above the 73.10 mark, and this is where we could start positioning ourselves for some higher levels again. Certainly this is the one to watch. We could start positioning ourselves for a possible hit of the recent all-time highs at around 75.15, but for that of course we would need to see a nice good strong close above this 73.10 mark in order to kind of in order to start examining these highs. But on the downside, if we start breaking it to the downside, certainly we could get a small like a false breakout. All eyes are going to be on the close, on the daily candles close. Now even if we're going to see a good close below this rising channel formation, that's still we would need to see a good close below the 71.45 mark. Now this is where it could become more interesting for the bears, because if we get a nice break here and a close below this below the 71.45, this could actually start ringing alarm bells, and we could maybe see this one traveling a little bit lower, and we could maybe aim for this level right here at around 69.50. Now 69.50 acted as a very nice area of support here around the 28th of June. So something like this could be possible, guys, so keep an eye on it. Certainly if you, let's say, want to position yourself for a possible trade here, this could be an idea like this. So let me just adjust this quickly. So certainly it wouldn't happen over one night, but nevertheless could be a good possible idea here. So if we position ourselves for this target here, but then you place your stop loss just somewhere around here, around this level here, around the 73, about around the 73,300 level, something like that. Now this is where you could, like I said, we could place a very nice trade here, possible on a possible break, and we could maybe try and ride this wave to the downside. So something like this, guys. This is of course just an idea. You be the judge what you're comfortable with, but yep, keep in mind that we could continue dropping further if we get a nice break and a close, not only below this upwards moving channel, but also below the 71.45 mark, so something like this. So keep an eye on it, guys. Let's look at one commodity that I really wanted to touch on, guys, is the platinum. Now the platinum, it's stuck within this little range, I would say, between this area here, between the 800 level approximately there, and the 845, or slightly even higher, maybe you would say, this area here around 860. But to be honest, this is where it becomes interesting, because as you can see right now, the precious metal started creating higher lows, and we could maybe see this one traveling all the way towards this downwards moving trend line that has been running here since around the 25th of January, and certainly if we get a nice pop here above this 845 mark, now this where it could become more interesting. And like I said, this is where we could start positioning ourselves for a possible test of this downwards moving trend line. Certainly keep an eye on it, but if this reverses back down, now let's jump on a 4-hour chart, because this is where probably it would be more clear to show the certain level here. So this is the area to watch, guys, and so approximately around 819 mark. So if we get a nice break here below, this level, then this is where it could open the path towards the 800 mark, and we could start positioning ourselves for a possible test of this area, of these recent lows. So for now, of course, keep an eye on this on this precious metal. We could, like I said, if we get a nice move back up here towards the 845, we could see a further acceleration in the price, and we could maybe start hitting these higher levels. So for now, like I said, keep an eye on the break, keep an eye on these possible breaking points. Let me just quickly highlight those for the future reference. Certainly, like I said, these are the ones to keep an eye on for now. Let's quickly touch on euro dollar. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but this is where I threw out an idea here this morning, actually, and actually in my morning video as well. This is what I was talking about, and certainly this is where it became interesting, because this is where initially we decided to kind of try to take this trade here, and we initially targeted this level here, the 117.45 mark, and we managed to take our profit here. Certainly we had our stop loss around here, around the 117 mark, but we're seeing that now this is reversing. So the first half was a much better one for the euro dollar, and we can see that it managed to reach our target, and we took our profits here around 117.45, and now we're seeing this retracement back down. So certainly this is raising a bit of concerns now about the upside, especially because we weren't able to break this 117.45 and move higher. So now we're seeing this reversal. So to be honest, all eyes now are on this little level right here at around 117. So if we get a nice break here below, this 117 level, keep an eye on these EMAs here initially, and then of course this level right here at around 116.50. Now could be a possible good trade here as well. Certainly, like I said, when you're gonna, if you position yourselves here for an entry below, slightly below, maybe a few pips below this 117, and then aim for the 116.50, but have your stop loss around somewhere around the 117.20. So could be a possible trade. Certainly this is just an idea, so well, you be the judge. let's put a another euro pair, which to be honest I'm not a huge fan of, but nevertheless let's see what it's up to. And this is the EURGBP. This is the daily chart, and we're seeing this upwards moving climb here, this upwards moving trend line, and it certainly continues to hold, and this is where it reversed nicely around this 0.8865 mark. And of course all eyes now on these recent highs that we saw here and in around the 20th of July. And of course we do have another good potential area of resistance at around 0.8970, which was marked here by the highs, near the highs of the 7th of March. So certainly this, if we do get a nice break here above, then this is opening the path towards this next potential area of resistance at around 0.9035 mark. So something like that could be possible, only if we get a nice break here above this 0.8970 mark. So keep an eye on, guys, keep an eye on this level. Certainly will be a key one to watch if this pair wants to continue pushing higher. But if this decides to reverse back down here, and certainly a break below this upside support line could indicate further declines, but a better confirmation for a possible decline could be a break here below this level here around the 0.8865. Now this is where it could become more interesting for the bears, as this is, if we do get a break here below, this is the next area that they could target, would be the 0.8820, or even actually the round is roundish, or the nice beautiful number of 0.88, let's say like that. So this is something to watch out for, but certainly a break below this upwards moving support line is not enough for us to jump to the bearish side. We would need also to see a break here and a close below the 0.8865. So keep an eye on this, guys, keep an eye on this pair. Certainly we could try to squeeze something out of it. Another one quickly I wanted to touch on is the USDCAD. Now USDCAD had a nice push here in the morning, this morning here during the European session morning, and but then quickly retraced back down, and now currently testing this key area of support here at around 130.25. Now it seems to be a very nice area of potential support. We can see that yesterday we had a break here below that level. We moved lower, but then the bulls managed to quickly drive it back here, back above the 130.25, and now we're kind of seeing a similar story where the bulls are trying to fight back and trying to kind of stay above this 130.25. Now it's certainly, this kind of gives us this idea that this is the area to watch right now. If we do get a close here below this level, then certainly there is a possibility for this pair to move lower towards this upwards moving support line, this kind of slightly like medium term upwards moving support line here that has been running since around the 2nd of February, and we could end up testing that one. We could see something like this. Let me just quickly draw this one, and we could maybe test this area and bounce off of it, hit the 130.25 again, and then of course if that's the case, if we see a scenario like that, then we'll just have to reevaluate the pair again. So for now, guys, keep an eye on the 130.25. This is the area to watch right now, and today especially, if this stays above this level, well, still kind of be very cautious. Maybe tomorrow we could see a bit of a bounce here back to the upside, but to be honest, for us to become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice good break here above the 131.25, and this is where we could start positioning ourselves for a possible test of this downwards moving resistance line that has been running here since around the 27th of June. So something like this at the moment, guys. Certainly keep an eye on it, keep an eye on this 130.25. let's see what it does with it. And the last pair that I really wanted to touch on is going to be NZDJPY. Now this one is certainly trying to push higher. It's certainly stuck here within this falling wedge formation. Now if we're judging by this activity that we're seeing right now, then a nice good clear break above this level here, above the 76.15 mark. Let me just quickly adjust this, to be honest. There we go. So the 76.15, we're seeing that this is currently above it, but this is the level to watch for today. If we get a nice close above this, then this could be opening the path in towards this upper bound of the falling wedge formation, which, if broken, certainly, as all the books are telling us, that falling wedges tend to be broken to the upside. But like I said, at this point in time, it's too early to say. First, let's see the break, let's see the close above this side, and then we're gonna start positioning ourselves for some longer term trades here to the upside. So, but for now, like I said, the pair is still kind of within this falling wedge. We could maybe see a rejection here at around 76.15, and if we do see something like this, then we could drop lower here. But for us to take the bearish side, we would need to see a nice good close below the 75 to 100 mark, and this is where it could become interesting, and we could start aiming for the lower side of this falling wedge formation. So guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me tomorrow at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, I hope you have a good US session for those who are trading the US session, but for those who have finished for today, have a nice evening.